Hi there guys, in this video I'm going to show you all the features available on the Realme Narzo 70x. By the way, do check out our video on the tips and tricks section where I've talked about a few things which won't be covering in this video. Link for that video will be in the description. Now the most impressive thing about this phone is definitely its cameras. It comes with a 50 megapixel primary camera and an 8 megapixel camera on the front for selfies. Next, this phone also offers decent performance. It comes with a Dimensity 6100 Plus processor with Mali G57 GPU. Now this is an entry-level processor and it's more than sufficient for normal usage, and you can do some light gaming as well. Next, we also have some new navigation gestures. But before that, we have the regular navigation bar with the back, home and recent buttons. From settings, you can set the long press action for the back button to open split screen mode, which can be pretty handy if you use the split screen mode a lot. Now back to the new gestures. Once you enable them, you can swipe from the bottom of the screen to go home, swipe and hold for recent tabs, and you can swipe from the left side or right side to go back a step. We can also trigger Google Assistant by swiping diagonally from the bottom left or bottom right corner. And you can quickly switch between the current application and the previous applications by swiping left or right on the bottom of the screen. Next, we have a brand new gesture which allows us to quickly switch between applications. You can enable it from the system navigation settings. Just enable the toggle, switch to previous app, and now you can just swipe and hold from the left or right edge of the screen to quickly switch between the current application and previous application. Actually, very few phones offer this particular feature and I personally really like it. So guys, definitely try this feature. Next, we have split screen mode gesture. Now on this phone, we have a 3-finger screen gesture to open split screen mode. You just need to swipe up using 3 fingers and it opens the current application in the split screen mode. Then you can select the secondary application from the list below. By the way, if this feature doesn't work, make sure to enable it from the settings, and once you're done, then you can just swipe up to open the split screen mode. Next, we have floating windows. Now this feature allows you to open applications in floating windows. To use this feature, you can go to the recent apps page, click on any one of the app icons, and then you have the option to open in a small pop-up window. Just click on it and the application will be opened in a floating window. You can double tap it to enlarge it. You can swipe the window towards the edge and it'll hide inside the edge. You can just swipe from the edge to bring it out whenever you need it. Next, we have assistive ball. Now once you enable this feature, you get an assistive ball on the screen, which is just a floating button kind of a thing, and you get to have 2 options. You have gesture options and you have tap menu. In tap menu, you can just tap on the ball to access different functions. In gesture options, you can double tap the ball or do a long tap on the ball to perform different actions. We can configure all that from settings. Next, we have gaming assistant. Now, once you enable this feature, you can access the gaming assistant while you're playing games, and from here you can check your system status, like the FPS of the game, CPU and GPU usages, and you can also perform some quick actions as well. Next, we have some pretty cool gestures. First, we have raise to wake. Now, once you enable this feature, you can just raise your phone from a flat surface and the screen lights up. If you are using face unlock feature, your screen lights up and takes you to the lock screen. If you are using face unlock feature, your phone can automatically unlock the phone as well, which can be pretty handy. Here's a preview once again. Next, we have one-handed mode. Now once you have enabled this feature, you can just do a swipe down gesture on the bottom of the screen to pull down the screen to the bottom. Now the screen will minimize to a smaller window and you can access the complete screen at the lower half of the screen. If you want to exit, you can swipe up on the minimized window or just tap in an empty area at the top. This particular feature works only with the navigation gestures. Next, we have App Locker built into the phone. If you have any applications that hold sensitive information like net banking applications or payment-based apps like Paytm, Google Pay or PhonePe, you can lock all those applications using this feature. It's a nice feature but has very limited options. If you're an advanced user, I'll suggest you to use a third-party application. Next, we have App Cloner. Using this feature, we can create duplicate versions of a supported application. Basically, using this feature, you can use 2 Facebook accounts, 2 Instagram accounts, or 2 WhatsApp accounts on the same phone. It's a very good feature, but it's only supported for few applications. Next, we have power menu. Now by default, whenever you press the power button, it'll trigger Google Assistant. But for some reason, if you want to use the power button to trigger Google Assistant and still want to access the power menu, this is what you need to do. Just press and hold the power button and the volume up button both at the same time and you get the power options. It's really not a feature, it's actually just a small tip. Next, we can also end calls using the power button. For it to work, you just need to enable this option, and whenever you are on a call, you can press the power button to end the call. This particular feature is particularly helpful for elderly people. Next, we have a pretty interesting feature called Auto Switch to Receiver. Now once you enable this feature, whenever you're on a call, you can lift your phone to your ear to automatically switch to the receiver mode. This works when you are using the loudspeaker mode and want to instantly switch to earpiece. Next, we can also schedule to power on and power off your phone. Now using this feature, you can just select the time and your phone will auto power on and power off. I would recommend you to daily restart your phone for the best user experience. So you can schedule your phone to power off, let's say at 2 in the morning, and power on at 2:01 or 2:10 AM in the morning. So your phone will restart automatically and you'll have the best user experience.
Next, we have some screen off gestures. First one would be double tap to wake. Now once you enable this feature, as the name suggests, you can just double tap the screen to wake it up. If you're already using face unlock feature on this phone, you can just double tap the screen to wake it up, then your front camera will see your face and then it will immediately unlock the phone. Overall, it gives you a very immersive experience. Next, we have music controls. Now once you enable this feature, you can draw less than or greater than symbols when the screen is off to play the previous or next songs, and then draw two parallel lines to play or pause music. Next, we have flip to mute. Now once you enable this feature, you can just flip your phone to mute an incoming call. Next, we have some quick launch shortcuts for the fingerprint scanner. Once you enable this feature, in the lock screen, you can touch and hold the fingerprint scanner. Even after the phone unlocks, just keep holding it and you will see some quick shortcuts. Now you can swipe your finger left or right to switch between these applications and release the finger to open that particular application. You can also swipe down to close the application. Now from these settings, you can save your quick shortcuts. Next, we have reading mode. Now reading mode on this phone is pretty unique. Once you enable this feature, your phone will automatically adjust the screen color temperature and make the display much more comfortable to read. You can either turn it on manually or schedule it to automatically turn on for few specific applications, say like Amazon Kindle or Google's Playbooks. It can also block peak notifications or heads-up notifications, which can be quite annoying, especially while reading. Next, we have some launcher-based gestures. You have some cool gestures and you can tweak them from the launcher settings. On your home screen, you can do a swipe down gesture to pull down the notification bar. You can double tap in an empty area to put the phone to sleep. And finally, you can do a swipe up gesture to open the app drawer.
Next, we have some new dynamic tones. In notification settings, you can find them. These are the new sounds. We have new stuff like music box, electronics, and more. And we also have a new feature where consecutive notifications will be linked to form a single melody. Next, we also have an infrared sensor on this device, which you can use to control other devices just like with any regular infrared remote. I usually use it to control AC and my old Panasonic TV. Next, we have simple mode. Now, this mode is really useful for elderly people who aren't tech savvy. So once you enable this mode, text and icon sizes are enlarged. It's much more easier to see, and the overall user interface is also slightly enlarged and overemphasized to be handy for elders.
So guys, these are all the best features. If I missed out on anything important, do let me know by commenting below this video. If you're planning to buy this phone, use the link in the description. It always helps the channel. If you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with the hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter and we will try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from greedytech signing off. Have a nice day.